Delta 547, wind 19016, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, clear for takeoff, Delta 547.
Taxi via Juliet.
Air traffic controllers protect our nation's airways. These are the stories of real air traffic controllers to boldly deliver a safe, orderly, and expeditious flow of air traffic from their departure point to their final destination.
Wind 19016, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, clear for takeoff, Delta 547.
Yeah, as I'm hearing you talking, I'm thinking that now commercial aircraft, you've got 767s, bigger planes. And then you've got those smaller express planes, which I just love flying in. They're really small, Embraers and all that. And
CRJs.
so you have to, from what I understand, you have to do that yourself. Okay, this is what the separation needs to be, airspeed needs to be. I think that's amazing, sort of doing that on the fly. Is that how it works? So, I'd love for you to explain what that means when you're looking at flights coming in.
Well,
I can explain right here on the separation and how we have our cheat sheets and everything else.
Well, we do have cheat sheets, but the en route environment, which I'm more familiar with, jets are jets. Basically, if I'm handing them off to Intercontinental or to the TRACON, I've got to cross a certain fix at a certain altitude at a certain speed. Now, whether it's what we call a Barbie jet, that's your express jet type, or whether it's a 767 or whatever, they're going to have to be crossing out there, say at 10 or 12 or whatever they're crossing at these days, and at a certain speed that we hand them off. And sometimes that becomes difficult to manage because some of the airplanes are not going nearly as quickly as the other airplanes are going. I did have one occurrence many years ago where we needed to cross Lissy because there was an Ellington field lander that had to cross the same intersection on the southwest side of the TRACON. I believe it was 10 and 250 knots. If you were landing Ellington or at Hobby, you had to cross at 10 and 250. Well, I had a T-38 behind another jet. The T-38 was just eating him up. And I gave him a 360. And then I look back down and he's still eating him up. And I say to the jet, to whoever it was, it's probably a NASA pilot or one of the trainers out of the T-38 here. And I asked him, did you give me a 360? He said, yeah, we did that. And I said, okay, turn right, heading zeros, whatever. So I just had to give him a box turn to just get the spacing. But that's where we encounter most of the difficulty with the speeds or a mixed environment. Of course, we're climbing and descending all the time, but really that's the biggest headache, I think, is handing off to approach control or to another sector facility.
Yeah, and I worked at I-90 also, and so Center would hand us the planes, and so they have this descend via that they start on when we call it a push. So when all the aircraft come from different parts of the United States, they're coming in high and fast. But as soon as we have to blend the aircraft, we have to slow them to 250, and then on the downwind traffic, we slow them to 210 knots so we could blend them. So what you do is you use altitude. So as we're turning base with an aircraft on the downwind, we're turning base, we'll say turn right, hit 180, reduce speed to 210. So he's turning and slowing. And the aircraft on a straight in at 250 knots, we wait. It's kind of like when you're on a highway and you're braking when you're approaching the air, but the controller has to work your speed. So then if he's, say, 10 miles behind the aircraft that's 210 knots on, now you turn on final, and 250, and you want to put a plane in the middle, which is on the opposite downwind, is you turn the other aircraft north, heading 360 and 210 knots. And the other one, as soon as he's 10 miles behind the first one, you slow him to 210. So now you have three aircraft at 210, 5 miles apart. And then as they get closer, you have to reduce them even more because they're going to land and descend. So then we start at 250, 210, 190, 180, 170, 150. The slowest we give is reduced final approach speed. So the entire time you're watching the speeds and what the wind's doing. Like I said, if someone cut into you're turning into the wind is going to slow. The one that's being pushed by the wind is going faster. So you use altitude until they're all on final, and then they're perfectly lined. And at I-90, since we're one of the large TRACONs, one of the busiest too, you have to, every mile counts. So if you have an extra mile here, and a 30-mile final, you could have fit in like 4 more planes. And that they'll be telling you, push it till you're, it's like a perfection, like a greased wheel working perfectly. You have to like, it's like a balance. It's hard to do, but once you get the hang of it, your timing has to be precise.
And Yahya, I-90 is the biggest airport's George Bush Intercontinental Airport. Yeah.
Right. We have a George. Normally, when we work over Lake Charles and we cross them at throw that maintain 10,000 and then reduce speed to 250 knots. And generally that works for us when we get in there. And then when they give them to I-90, like she said, they're working at speeds, and they try to give us, not jam us up, but in the tower, we make it happen. When they give it to us and they got to overtake, we take care of it all and get it going. Not to say that we save the day, but we do.
Now,
We save the day when we get them. Because like she said, sometimes it's hard to win and everything else. So when we get them, we're like, hey, we're going to reduce you a little bit more and make it work.
well, Dana, now at a certain, like the minimum would be like 3 miles on trail, but at a certain point, like
We can reduce
inside the final approach fix, you can go down to 2.5.
Exactly,
Is it
2.5.
still 2.5?
We can do it. We can get down to 2.5. We try to make it work for them. If we got to put them on runway 26 right, or if we can keep on 26 left, that's what we do.
Do you have the type aircraft displayed in your data block that's following the target?
Yeah, we have that, and we have also our little cheat sheets that we have on the side to help us out with everything else. And if all fails, we go around.
When you have the aircraft type, it also has like a slant, and then like a H is a heavy.
Yeah,
so you
right.
know, okay, an H with an I is this many miles. An A with a A is this many miles. So after each aircraft, you'll have A, B, C, D, E. So you work your calculation on mileage based on the last character in their aircraft suffix.